Scott as a no-nonsense leader, fixated on costs, willing to cut programs, fire employees, strip it down to its bare bones. He presents himself, Rick Scott does, as a turnaround expert. You know, he goes into something that's failing and makes it a big success. He told supporters the other night in his victory speech, quote, "I won't rest until we make Florida a model for the country in job creation and education," end quote. Well, he wants to destroy public education, and the way he's going to create jobs is by firing thousands upon thousands of state workers. Plus, he had a campaign slogan, "Let's get to work." That was his campaign slogan, "Let's get to work." He said that he had a plan of 7 steps to create 700,000 jobs in 7 years. Ooh, all the 7s! My head is spinning! Oh my goodness! Among his proposals are plans to privatize more prisons. Oh yes, that's a big business in Florida. Give vouchers to parents for schools. Vouchers to parents for schools, which means to gut and destroy public education. And give vouchers to Medicaid recipients for health insurance. Medicaid recipients. Those are poor people who cannot afford, so he's going to give them vouchers and get them off of Medicaid. And what are they going to do with their vouchers? Here's a voucher for $100. Now go get yourself some insurance. But I can't. Oh, well, too bad. You can keep the voucher. And he also wants to reduce what businesses have to pay for the workers who are injured or killed on their job sites. This is the way this rancid, bald-headed son of a bitch is going to revitalize Florida. He said Wednesday that to lighten the burden of government on every Florida family. There's a burden of government on every Florida family. There is indeed. Every Florida family can feel the weight of the burden of government. Oh, yes! Stop a Florida family and ask them if they feel the burden of government. But in order to lighten the burden of government, Mr. Scott pledged to shrink the state payroll by thousands of jobs and to bring tax cuts, hefty tax cuts, for the wealthy. Here we go again. You see, just go for it, Rick. Destroy the Sunshine State. Just beat it into dust, like the rest of these governors are going to do. Democrats are predicting a return to the dark ages in Florida. Republicans are thrilled. State Senate President Mike Herodopoulos said, "It's a real opportunity for us. Not since the 1860s," Herodopoulos said, "has the state had such a conservative concentration of power. And as a result, a lot of legislation is going to pass." Specifically, he said the state would probably revisit a Senate bill vetoed by Governor Charlie Crist that would have established merit-based pay for teachers. Oh, that's great. You know, this merit-based pay for teachers thing is one of the biggest scams in the country. Do you all understand that? The idea being that because so many kids are failing in school, it must be the teachers. So let's have merit-based pay. And how are we going to decide if the kids are succeeding? Oh, well, we'll give them tests. But what about the big cheating scandals that usually result from these horrific, hideous tests, like in the state of Georgia right now? Oh, well, that's just because we got some rotten apples. No, it's not. No, it's not. Merit-based pay for teachers means that the teachers are then responsible for the dysfunctional children that come into their classrooms, children that have no breakfast because the family has been unemployed for 2 years. They have not had proper nutrition at all. Maybe they haven't been to a dentist for a while, have a toothache. Maybe the parents are divorced. Usually they are. The parents are divorced. The kids are living in a trailer or a furnished apartment with roaches running around. When they watch television, they see this consumer-driven society, this product-oriented society, all this stuff that these kids will never have. It further depresses them because, after all, they're little kids in America, and that means you got to have stuff. They have no health care. Their parent or parents probably beat them out of the frustration that the parents are going through. They may have some learning disabilities, ADD, or what's the other one, Kathy? Attention deficit disorder. What's the other one? Hyperactivity disorder. They have no money when they come to class for the school lunch, and they certainly don't bring a lunch. They may not get any supper when they get home. There's no little after-school things going on in their lives. They don't go to ballet classes. They don't take piano lessons. They're not in Cub Scouts. Why? Because there's no money for this stuff. So, dump it all on the teacher. The kid comes to class. He or she can no more learn than he or she can fly. But let's blame the teacher for that. Because a teacher, you see, in the public school carefully selects the pupils he or she wants to teach and makes sure that he or she will only be teaching kids who are open to learning, right? Isn't that the way it goes? No, it's not. But old Rick Scott, boy, he's got a plan. Yeah, give vouchers to parents for schools and get rid of that, or reinstate that merit pay thing, and let's go. Let's do all kinds of stuff. We're going to turn Florida around. Well, there's one thing about Rick Scott. He's a thief, a crook, a liar, and he commits fraud. In 1987, he helped found the Columbia Hospital Corporation with two business partners. This merged with Hospital Corporation of America in 1989 to form Columbia HCA. It eventually became the largest private for-profit healthcare company in the U.S. He was forced to resign as the chief executive of Columbia HCA in 1997 amid a scandal over the company's business and Medicare billing practices. The company ultimately admitted to 14 felonies and agreed to pay the federal government $1.7 billion in fines. And Mr. Scott later became a venture capitalist and entered politics this year when he announced his intention to run for governor of Florida. $1.7 billion in fines for fraud, ripping off the government, ripping off Medicare, stealing, sticking his bony-ass hands in other people's pockets and taking it. It's mine. And now he's going to run Florida like a business.